Welcome to HD Coins World. How are you guys? Your ultimate destination for exploring the fascinating world of old, rare, and highly valuable coins. If you're passionate about numismatics and love discovering hidden treasures, you're in the right place. Stay tuned as we uncover some of the most incredible coins from history that could be worth a fortune today. 1965 Washington Quarter Dollar. This coin is more than just pocket change. It's a piece of American history, and for some collectors, it could be worth a fortune. Stick around as we uncover its story, its value, and why it's considered a true gem in the world of numismatics. Let's begin with the basics. The 1965 Washington Quarter weighs exactly 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Its design, featuring the profile of George Washington, remains one of the most iconic images in American coinage. But what makes this coin stand out is not its appearance. It's the history and rarity behind it. The year 1965 marked a significant turning point in U.S. currency history. At that time, the United States was facing a major coinage crisis due to the rising value of silver. For decades, coins like the Washington Quarter were made with 90% silver, but by the mid-1960s, silver had become too valuable for everyday circulation. To solve this problem, the U.S. Mint made a bold decision. They removed silver from the quarter and replaced it with a copper-nickel composition. This marked the beginning of the clad coin era, and the 1965 Washington Quarter was the first to be minted without silver. It symbolized a shift in American currency and became a reflection of the changing times. But here's where things get really interesting. During the transition, a small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964. These rare, silver-era coins are what collectors dream of finding. They are incredibly valuable because they represent a minting mistake that occurred during one of the most pivotal moments in U.S. coinage history. Why are these coins so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and demand. Only a tiny fraction of these silver-era quarters were ever produced, and even fewer have been discovered. For collectors, owning one of these coins is like owning a piece of history, one that tells a story of transition and change. Now, let's talk about their value. A standard 1965 Washington Quarter made from copper and nickel is worth only its face value, 25 cents. But if you're lucky enough to own one of these rare silver-era coins, its value skyrockets. At auctions, these coins often sell for staggering amounts as collectors bid to own such a rare piece. In pristine condition, these coins have been valued at an incredible $75,000. And with increasing demand, their value can rise even higher in competitive auctions. What can we learn from the story of the 1965 Washington Quarter? It's a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold great historical significance, and sometimes even great monetary value. 1967 Washington Quarter Dollar. This coin might look like an everyday piece of change, but its story, historical significance, and value will leave you amazed. Stay tuned as we uncover its fascinating details and why it's so sought after in the world of numismatics. Let's start with the coin specifications. The 1967 Washington Quarter weighs 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Its design, featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse and the majestic eagle on the reverse, is a timeless representation of American craftsmanship. But the value of this coin isn't just about its design. It's about its history and rarity. Now, let's go back to 1967, a turbulent yet transformative time in U.S. coinage history. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint had made the groundbreaking decision to remove silver from most circulating coins, including the Washington Quarter. Rising silver prices and a national coin shortage had made it unsustainable to produce coins with precious metal content. To address these challenges, the Mint introduced a new copper-nickel clad composition for the quarter. The 1967 Washington Quarter was one of these newly designed coins, part of an era that marked a significant shift in American currency. But there's more to the story. In an effort to prevent hoarding during this transitional period, the U.S. Mint decided to eliminate mint marks from coins produced between 1965 and 1967. That's right. If you look closely, you'll notice that the 1967 Washington Quarter lacks the typical mint mark indicating where it was produced. This small detail makes it an intriguing piece for collectors who value its unique place in history. Why is the 1967 Washington quarter valuable? While most of these coins are worth face value, some rare errors and high-grade specimens can fetch significant sums. Error coins from this year, such as those struck on wrong planchets, with double dies, or misaligned strikes, are especially sought after. Combine this with the fact that finding a perfectly preserved 1967 quarter is incredibly rare, and you've got a recipe for a highly valuable collector's item. Now, let's talk about the numbers. A standard 1967 Washington quarter in average circulated condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you have one in pristine condition or with a rare error, its value skyrockets at auctions. These coins can fetch staggering amounts. In fact, high-grade examples of the 1967 Washington quarter have been valued at an astonishing $70,000. And when collectors go head-to-head at auctions, the price can climb even higher, making this coin a true prize for those lucky enough to find it. The story of the 1967 Washington quarter is a reminder that even everyday objects can hold incredible value when combined with history, rarity, and a little bit of luck. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories about hidden treasures and valuable collectibles. Until next time, happy collecting! 1973 Washington quarter dollar. A coin that might look ordinary at first glance but holds a story, a legacy, and for some collectors, a significant value. Stay with me as we explore its specifications, history, and why it could be worth much more than just 25 cents. Let's begin with the basics. The 1973 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Its iconic design, featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse and a regal eagle on the reverse, is a classic symbol of American pride. But while its appearance may seem commonplace, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. To understand its significance, we need to go back to the early 1970s. By this time, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned to copper-nickel-clad coinage, having phased out silver nearly a decade earlier. The 1973 Washington quarter continued this tradition, with its copper core and nickel outer layer, designed for durability and cost efficiency. However, the story of the 1973 quarter becomes intriguing when you consider the context of its production. In the early 70s, the U.S. economy was undergoing significant changes, and coins like the Washington quarter became essential tools for daily commerce. Despite being a workhorse of the American economy, the 1973 quarter had its share of rare errors and unique specimens, which are now highly sought after by collectors. What makes the 1973 Washington quarter valuable? While most quarters from this year are worth their face value, there are exceptions that can fetch a hefty price. Rare minting errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on foreign planchets, are incredibly valuable. Even standard quarters in pristine condition, graded as MS 67 or higher, are rare finds that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. Now, let's talk about its value. A typical 1973 quarter in circulated condition is only worth 25 cents. But if you're fortunate enough to come across one in near-perfect condition or with a rare minting error, its value can rise dramatically. At auctions, the stakes get even higher. A flawless or error 1973 Washington quarter can sell for as much as $60,000. And when passionate collectors compete for these rare coins, their worth can soar even higher, making them a true treasure for anyone lucky enough to find one. The 1973 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how even everyday objects can hold incredible stories and incredible value. It's a testament to the artistry, history, and significance of American coinage. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating journey into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories about valuable collectibles and hidden treasures. Until next time, happy collecting! 1974 Washington quarter dollar. It may seem like just another piece of pocket change, but this coin has a story and a potential value that could surprise you. Stick around to learn why it's worth much more than just 25 cents. let's start with the basics. The 1974 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Its design is a true classic. On the obverse, we have the iconic profile of George Washington, a tribute to America's first president, while the reverse features the majestic bald eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. To understand why the 1974 Washington quarter stands out, let's dive into its history. By 1974, the United States Mint had fully transitioned to a copper-nickel clad composition for quarters, replacing the 90% silver used in earlier years. This change, initiated in 1965, was a response to the rising cost of silver and the need for a more sustainable and affordable material for circulating coins. But what makes the 1974 Washington quarter special isn't just its history, it's the rare errors and high-grade specimens that have caught the attention of collectors worldwide. During the minting process, mistakes occasionally happen, and it's these errors that can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. Some of the most sought-after errors for the 1974 quarter include double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process, and off-center strikes, where the design isn't properly aligned on the coin. These minting mistakes are rare, making them highly valuable to collectors. Even without errors, the condition of a coin plays a huge role in its value. Most 1974 quarters were heavily circulated, meaning they show significant wear and tear. Finding a pristine, high-grade specimen, graded MS 67 or higher, is incredibly rare and can command a premium price in the market. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1974 Washington quarter. A standard quarter from this year, in average circulated condition, is worth just 25 cents. But for those rare error coins or quarters in flawless condition, the story is completely different. In auctions, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these unique pieces. A perfect or error 1974 Washington quarter has been valued at an impressive $60,000. And when collectors compete in auctions, the value can soar even higher, making these coins a prized addition to any collection. The 1974 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how a simple coin can hold so much history, artistry, and potential value. It's a reminder to always check your pocket change. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden treasure. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating journey into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories about valuable collectibles and hidden gems. Until next time, happy collecting! 1979 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another quarter, but there's much more to it than meets the eye. Stick around as we explore its specs, its historical significance, and why it might just be worth much more than you think. Let's begin with the basics. The 1979 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, the standard size for U.S. quarters. The coin features the iconic design of George Washington on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. It's a design that's been with us since 1932, a symbol of America's proud heritage. But why is the 1979 Washington quarter worth talking about? To understand this, we need to look back at the context in which it was produced. By 1979, the United States Mint had been using a copper-nickel clad composition for coins like the Washington quarter for more than a decade. This was part of the shift that began in 1965, when the U.S. Mint replaced the silver in circulating coins with a more durable and cost-effective material. The 1979 quarter, however, wasn't just another regular coin. During this time, the U.S. Mint was producing an incredible number of coins, and as a result, some of them had striking errors, imperfections that made certain quarters stand out. Errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned designs can make a coin exponentially more valuable. These types of errors can turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's dream. Another factor that makes the 1979 Washington quarter valuable is its condition. Most quarters from this year were heavily circulated, which means they are often worn and damaged. But if you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, such as a high-grade MS 67 or higher, it can be worth a lot more than face value. Now, let's talk numbers. A typical 1979 Washington quarter is worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you've got a rare error coin or one that's been kept in perfect condition, You could be looking at something much more valuable, in fact. Some of these quarters have been sold for as much as $50,000 in auctions. Yes, you heard that right, $50,000. And with the rarity of these coins, their value can rise even higher in competitive bidding situations, making them a prized possession for collectors. The 1979 Washington quarter is a prime example of how even seemingly ordinary coins can hold incredible value, thanks to their rarity, condition, and the occasional minting error. It's a reminder that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, and sometimes, a coin that's been sitting in your collection for years could be worth much more than you ever imagined. 1983 Washington Quarter Dollar, specifically the one with the D mint mark. Stick with me as we explore its history, its unique characteristics, and why this particular quarter could be worth much more than just 25 cents. Let's start with the basics. The 1983 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, which is the standard size for most U.S. quarters. The design on the coin is the classic Washington quarter. George Washington's profile graces the obverse, and on the reverse, you'll find the iconic eagle in all its glory, symbolizing American strength and freedom. The D mint mark, located on the reverse near the bottom, indicates that this coin was minted in Denver. Now, let's take a step back in time to understand the full story behind the 1983 Washington quarter. By the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint had long transitioned from using silver to a copper-nickel clad composition for circulating coins. The 1983 Washington quarter was part of this era, and though it wasn't made of precious metals, it has its own unique place in American coinage history. But what makes the 1983 quarter interesting, and why should collectors care? Well, it's all about rarity, errors, and condition. During the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint was cranking out a massive amount of coins to meet the growing demand for currency. As a result, some coins were struck with errors, making them incredibly valuable to collectors who are always on the lookout for rare and unique pieces. For the 1983 Washington quarter, one of the key factors that makes it special is the presence of certain minting errors. Some of these quarters were struck off-center, others have doubling in the design, and there are even examples of coins with incomplete or misaligned strikes. These errors are rare, and that rarity is what drives the value of these coins. The better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Now, let's talk value. A standard 1983 Washington quarter, in average circulated condition, is worth just its face value of 25 cents. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1983 quarter in excellent, uncirculated condition, or one with a rare minting error, the value skyrockets. At auctions, error coins from 1983 have been known to fetch $75,000. Yes, you heard that right, $75,000. And with the excitement of bidding wars at auctions, it's not uncommon for these coins to rise in value even more, making them a true prize for collectors. So, what does all of this mean for you as a collector or investor? It's a reminder to always be on the lookout for those rare gems hiding in plain sight. The 1983 Washington quarter with the D mint mark may seem like an ordinary coin, but with the right conditions and the right errors, it could be worth a small fortune. 1986 Washington quarter dollar with the P mint mark. This coin might look like an everyday quarter, but trust me, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Stick around to learn why it holds historical significance and how it could be worth much more than just 25 cents. Let's start with the fundamentals. The 1986 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. These dimensions have remained consistent since the transition from silver to copper-nickel-clad coinage in the mid-1960s. The obverse of the coin features the timeless profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, while the reverse displays the powerful image of an eagle, a symbol of strength and freedom. The P mint mark, located on the obverse just above the date, indicates that this coin was minted in Philadelphia. Now, let's rewind the clock to 1986 and explore the history behind this coin. By this time, the U.S. Mint had firmly established the copper-nickel-clad composition for quarters, a move that started in 1965 to address rising silver costs. The 1986 Washington quarter was part of a period in American history when coinage was being produced in vast quantities to support a growing economy. But here's where things get interesting. While most quarters from this era are common, certain 1986 quarters with the P mint mark are anything but ordinary. Why? It's all about condition, rarity, and errors. One of the key factors that makes a 1986 Washington quarter valuable is its condition. Most of these coins saw heavy circulation, which means they often show signs of wear and tear. However, a quarter in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher, is extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. These coins retain their original luster and sharp details, making them stand out in the world of numismatics. Even more exciting are the error coins from 1986. Some of these quarters exhibit unique minting errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors are rare and can make a seemingly ordinary coin incredibly valuable. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for: the value of this coin. A standard 1986 Washington quarter with AP mint mark in circulated condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you happen to have one in pristine condition or one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a significant payday. At auctions, these rare coins can fetch impressive sums. Some 1986 Washington quarters with the P mint mark have been valued at an incredible $47,000. Yes, $47,000. And when these coins appear in auctions, the competitive bidding can drive the value even higher, making them a prized possession for collectors. The 1986 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is a testament to the hidden treasures that can be found in everyday objects. It's a reminder that even something as small as a coin can hold great historical and monetary value. 1987 Washington quarter dollar, specifically the one with the D mint mark. At first glance, it might look like any other quarter you've held in your hand. But trust me, this coin has a story worth exploring. Stick around to learn why it's more than just pocket change. It could be worth a fortune. Let's start with the basics. The 1987 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. These dimensions have been standard for U.S. quarters since 1965, when the transition from silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition began. On the obverse side, you'll find the iconic profile of George Washington, designed by the talented sculptor John Flanagan. The reverse features the classic eagle design, a powerful symbol of freedom and strength. The D mint mark, located on the obverse just above the date, indicates that this coin was minted in Denver. Now, let's take a step back in time to understand the history of this coin. By 1987, the Washington quarter had already been in production for over 5 decades, becoming a staple of American coinage. While these coins were primarily designed for circulation, the Denver Mint produced millions of them, some of which turned out to be rarer than others due to unique circumstances during production. What makes the 1987 Washington quarter with the D mint mark so special? It all boils down to condition, rarity, and minting errors. Let's start with condition. Most 1987 quarters were heavily circulated, meaning they show signs of wear and tear from years of use. However, coins in mint state condition, those graded MS 67 or higher, are extremely rare. These high-grade coins retain their original shine and sharp details, making them highly sought after by collectors. Next, let's talk about errors. During the minting process, mistakes can happen, and these mistakes can make a coin incredibly valuable. Some 1987 quarters have been discovered with double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned designs, all of which are considered rare and desirable. Error coins like these stand out and can fetch significant sums on the collector's market. Now, let's get to the exciting part: the value of this coin. A typical 1987 Washington quarter with the D mint mark, in average circulated condition, is worth just its face value of 25 cents. But if you're lucky enough to come across one in pristine, uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, its value skyrockets. At auctions, collectors have paid as much as $45,000 for these coins. Yes, $45,000. And in competitive bidding situations, the value can rise even higher, making it a true treasure for anyone lucky enough to own one. The 1987 Washington quarter with the D mint mark is a perfect example of how everyday items can hold extraordinary stories and unexpected value. It's a reminder to always check your pocket change. You never know what hidden gems you might find. 1989 Washington quarter dollar, specifically the one with the D mint mark. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin is more than just spare change and could even be worth thousands of dollars. Let's start with the basics. The 1989 Washington quarter has a standard weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. These specifications have been consistent for quarters since 1965, following the switch from silver to a copper-nickel clad composition. On the obverse, we see the familiar and dignified profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse features the iconic eagle design, symbolizing American strength and freedom. The D-Mint mark, found on the obverse just above the date, indicates that this particular coin was minted in Denver. Now, let's delve into the history of this coin. By 1989, the Washington quarter had already been in production for over half a century, a testament to its enduring design and significance in American coinage. While millions of quarters were minted that year to meet the growing demand for currency, a select few stand out due to their rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. So, what makes the 1989 Washington quarter with the D mint mark valuable? There are three key factors: condition, minting errors, and collector demand. First, let's talk about condition. Most of the quarters minted in 1989 were heavily circulated, meaning they show significant wear and tear. However, finding a quarter in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher, is incredibly rare. These coins maintain their original luster, sharp details, and flawless surfaces, making them highly desirable to collectors. Next, we have minting errors. Errors occur during the coin production process, and they can make a coin extremely valuable. Some 1989 quarters exhibit double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled, or off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned. These errors are rare and can significantly increase the coin's value. Finally, collector demand plays a huge role. Coins like the 1989 Washington quarter with the D mint mark are increasingly sought after, especially those with errors or in pristine condition. Collectors are always on the hunt for rare and unique pieces to add to their collections, and this quarter checks all the boxes. Now, let's talk numbers. A typical 1989 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you're lucky enough to find one in uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, its value can climb dramatically. At auctions, some of these coins have sold for as much as $47,000. Yes, $47,000. And in competitive bidding situations, the value can rise even higher, making it a true treasure for those who own it. The 1989 Washington quarter with the D mint mark is a perfect example of how an everyday coin can hold extraordinary value. It's a reminder to always check your pocket change and keep an eye out for hidden gems that might just be worth a fortune. 1993 Washington quarter dollar, specifically the one with the P mint mark. This coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but it carries an intriguing history and can be worth far more than just 25 cents. So, stay with me as we dive into its history, unique features, and astonishing value. Let's start with the basics. The 1993 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, dimensions that have remained standard since 1965 when quarters transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel clad composition. The obverse of the coin features the timeless profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, while the reverse displays the iconic eagle, symbolizing freedom and strength. The P mint mark, located on the obverse above the date, signifies that this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, let's step back in time to understand the context of this coin. By 1993, the Washington quarter had been a mainstay of American coinage for over 60 years. The U.S. Mint continued producing quarters in large quantities to meet the needs of a growing economy. However, while most of these coins were destined for everyday use, some became rarities due to their condition or unique minting errors. What makes the 1993 Washington quarter with the P mint mark so special? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and minting anomalies. Let's start with condition. Most quarters from 1993 saw heavy circulation, meaning they were exposed to significant wear and tear. However, a coin in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher, is a rare find. These coins maintain their original shine, sharp details, and flawless surfaces, making them highly sought after by collectors. Next, let's discuss minting errors. Errors occur during the production process and are incredibly rare. Some 1993 quarters display double dies, off-center strikes, or other anomalies that make them stand out from the rest. These errors are highly prized by collectors and can significantly increase a coin's value. Lastly, collector demand plays a significant role. Rare coins like the 1993 Washington quarter with the P mint mark, especially those in pristine condition or featuring minting errors, are increasingly sought after by numismatists. Now, let's talk about its value. In circulated condition, the 1993 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is worth its face value of 25 cents. However, if you have one in exceptional, uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, its value can skyrocket. At auctions, some of these coins have sold for as much as $42,000. Yes, $42,000. And in the competitive world of coin auctions, the price can rise even higher, especially when collectors compete for these hidden treasures. The 1993 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is a perfect example of how something as ordinary as a quarter can hold extraordinary value. It's a reminder to always check your pocket change. You might just find a small fortune hiding in plain sight. 1994 Washington quarter dollar with the P mint mark. By the end of this video, you'll learn why this seemingly ordinary quarter could be worth thousands of dollars. Let's begin with the basics. The 1994 Washington quarter has a standard weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. These specifications have been consistent for quarters since 1965, when the U.S. Mint transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition. On the obverse, we see the familiar profile of George Washington, created by sculptor John Flanagan. The reverse features the majestic eagle, a proud symbol of American strength and freedom. The P mint mark, located just above the date on the obverse, indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, let's dive into the history. By 1994, the Washington quarter had been a cornerstone of U.S. coinage for over 60 years. Originally introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this coin quickly became one of America's most recognizable and widely used coins. While millions of quarters were minted in 1994 to meet the demands of a bustling economy, a few stand out due to their condition, rarity, and unique characteristics. So, what makes the 1994 Washington quarter with the P mint mark valuable? There are three key factors: condition, minting errors, and collector demand. First, let's talk about condition. Most 1994 quarters were circulated heavily, which means they show significant wear and tear. However, coins in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher, are incredibly rare. These coins retain their original luster, sharp details, and flawless surfaces, making them highly prized by collectors. Next, we have minting errors. Mistakes during the minting process can create unique and rare coins. Some 1994 quarters exhibit double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled, or off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned. These errors are highly sought after by numismatists and can add significant value to the coin. Finally, let's discuss collector demand. Coins like the 1994 Washington quarter with the P mint mark, especially those in pristine condition or with unique minting errors, are highly sought after by collectors looking to add rare and valuable pieces to their collections. Now, let's get to the exciting part: the value of this coin. A standard 1994 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you're fortunate enough to find one in uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, its value can increase dramatically. Some of these coins have sold at auctions for as much as $40,000. Yes, $40,000. And in the competitive world of coin auctions, the price can rise even higher as collectors vie for these rare and valuable pieces. The 1994 Washington quarter with the P mint mark is a perfect example of how even a common coin can hold extraordinary value. It's a reminder to always keep an eye on your pocket change. You never know when you might find a hidden gem. 1995 Washington quarter dollar, specifically the one with the P mint mark. This seemingly ordinary coin may hold extraordinary value. Stick around as we reveal its history, unique features, and how it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Let's begin with the coin's basics. The 1995 Washington quarter weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. These dimensions have been standard since 1965, following the transition from a silver composition to a copper-nickel-clad alloy. On the obverse side, we see the iconic profile of George Washington, a design crafted by the talented sculptor John Flanagan. The reverse features the timeless image of an eagle, a powerful emblem of American freedom. The P Mint mark, located just above the date on the obverse, signifies that this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, let's journey back in time to explore its history. By 1995, the Washington quarter had already been a staple of American coinage for more than 6 decades. Originally introduced in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, this coin quickly became a cornerstone of U.S. currency. The 1995 quarters were produced in large quantities, but not all were created equal. Some became rarities due to their condition, minting anomalies, and collector interest. What makes the 1995 Washington quarter with the P Mint mark so special? The value of this coin is determined by 3 key factors: condition, minting errors, and collector demand. First, let's talk about condition. The majority of 1995 quarters were heavily circulated, showing signs of wear and tear from everyday use. However, a coin in mint state condition, graded MS 67 or higher, is a rare gem. These coins retain their original shine, sharp details, and pristine surfaces, making them highly prized by collectors. Next, we have minting errors. Errors during production can turn an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable collectible. Some 1995 quarters exhibit double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled, or off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned. These errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors. Lastly, collector demand plays a huge role. Coins like the 1995 Washington quarter with the P Mint mark, especially those in exceptional condition or with unique errors, are highly coveted in the world of numismatics. Now, let's discuss the coin's value. A typical 1995 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. But if you're fortunate enough to find one in uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, its value can skyrocket. Some of these coins have been sold at auctions for as much as $47,000. Yes, $47,000. And in the high-stakes world of coin auctions, the price can rise even higher as collectors compete for these rare treasures. The 1995 Washington quarter with the P Mint mark is a shining example of how an everyday coin can hold extraordinary value. It's a reminder to always check your pocket change. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem worth a small fortune. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the world of rare and valuable coins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories about collectible coins. Until next time, happy collecting